Hey guys, welcome back to another video. We're back in the greenhouse doing some work and some seeding, and I wanted to talk about some trays, two different types of trays that I use that I don't think I've covered in the past. I just want to give a brief explanation of why I use these couple different trays and what their purposes is. So to start off, I want to talk about your typical cell tray. This is your typical 1020 cell tray. This is specifically a 128 cell, so there's 128 holes or cells or blocks in this tray, which will give you 128 plants overall. So we use these generally for a lot of the seeding we do. We've kind of generalized what we do to keep, I guess, operation more simple and run smoother. This also works with our vacuum seeder. We have a 128 cell vacuum seeder that we can use to plop right on here and plant a plethora of different raw seeds or pelleted seeds. So that's really nice. We use other size trays like 98 cell and 72 cell are really the three main cell trays that we use. And these are those cheaper plastic ones, but we try to keep them in good shape and at least get like 3 to 4 years out of them. If you're gentle with them and you're not really throwing them around and you keep them in a place where the sun's not gonna really beat them up over time, you'll get some life out of these. So keep that in mind, because prices just keep skyrocketing, it seems. The other thing I want to talk about, and what some people might not be fully familiar with, are row trays. And what this is, it's the same size as a 1020, but it's really narrow, or shallow, I should say. And it's got rows in it. There's no cell blocks in it. So there's 10 rows in this tray. And what we use this primarily for is seeding some of our excuse me, seeding some of our main season crops. So mainly what we're using these for are our tomatoes, our eggplant, and our peppers. And why we're doing that is because, one, this is allowing these plants to start in an easier block, if you will, for us to transplant. So what we do with all those three different crops is we actually transplant them in the greenhouse, meaning we move them from a row tray like this, which there's some videos on me transplanting. We'll do another one this season. But we'll take them from this as the plants grow, and then they'll get put into select trays. Like 72 is really the smallest we do, but then we'll transplant them into these trays. Excuse me, we do 98s as well. But what's really nice with these is that all the plants will grow in a line here, and the roots kind of connect together. But it makes it really easy to pull the plants up out of these to then transplant into your cell trays or your 4-inch pots, whatever you're doing. And the reasoning behind all this is, you know, you might ask, well, why don't you just seed those seeds into a normal, 98 or 72 cell, or put them right into your 4-inch pots? The reason we do it this way is because we are taking that plant that is alive, that we know has germinated properly, and we are transplanting it into that pot or that cell. So at the end of filling that tray, and maybe 2 or 3 weeks down the road, we are very positive and have enough confidence that that full tray is going to survive, that it's going to make it to the field. We don't want to be dealing with partial trays of things like peppers and eggplants, tomatoes, those higher dollar value crops that you're planting only like once or twice throughout the season, versus something like a lettuce, we can plant easily, or a cabbage or a broccoli. We can plant into this 128, and if there's a few skips between that tray, if I miss 3 or 4 seeds out of that tray, over 100 trays, yeah, that's quite a few seeds. But in the grand spectrum of things, we can deal with a little more loss in a 128 cell tray of broccoli or lettuce versus like a high tunnel hybrid heirloom tomato, or hybrid or heirloom tomato is what I mean. When you're talking seeds that are literally $1 a piece, and it doesn't sound like a lot, but $1 a piece for some tomato seeds, we want to make our germination as easy as possible, as quality as possible, and we want our transplanting to be sufficient so those plants can survive properly and make it to the end of their life. So that's that. 2 different trays. We're going to seed some high tunnel tomatoes and peppers into these bad boys and get them in the germination chamber.